today's news, the law on granting status needs to be applied properly, says Governor. And logistical issues result in a shortage of rapid antigen tests in the BVI. A national team tops Group D standings in CONCACAF competition, and 8 police officers promoted to constables. Well, viewers, these are more stories when 284 News returns.
Yo, everything good there?
Aye. This thing got me one way, daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. I'm Kamal Haynes, coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Well, happy Tuesday to one and all, and thank you so much for joining us. Well, we start today's newscast on the subject of belongership status, where the process for issuing residency and belongership status will be reviewed after the Commission of Inquiry report discovered several breaches of the law in the methods used by previous governments to grant individuals these statuses. Well, in the report, Commissioner of the Inquiry, Sir Gary Hickenbottom, recommended a review of processes, adding that the open discretion currently held by Cabinet to make grants for status also needed to be reviewed. Well, he said, and I quote, "Well, any such powers should only be maintained where necessary, and where any such powers are maintained, then they should be subject to clearly expressed and published guidelines." He continued, "This review could, and in my view should, be led by a senior public officer. As part of that review, the position with regard to the length of residence required for belongership applications based on tenure should be clarified and confirmed by statute." Well, meanwhile, in a recent interview, Governor His Excellency John Rankin revealed that government have been using a 20-year policy to grant residency and belongership status instead of the law which makes provisions for the issuing of such statuses after 10 years. Well, he said a review, among many things, will seek to address all these issues.
Well, that's precisely what the Commission of Inquiry report recommends, that there is a review of that process. I recognise belongership as a sensitive issue. For many people within the territory, both for people who are belongers and those who would wish to become belongers. But what the COI report reveals is a couple of things. First of all, that back in 2011, belongership status was granted to a group of individuals who didn't meet the criteria, and they were simply granted, it would appear, on the individual wish of ministers at the time, outside the regular processes. That shouldn't happen. Secondly, the COI report finds that in practice, the government has been operating a 20-year residence rule for most persons I say, before they can be eligible for belonging status, where actually what the law says is 10 years residency before we can be considered eligible for belonging status. So the first thing we need to do is to apply the law properly. And secondly, we need to have transparent processes in place, whatever the criteria are going forward, so that they are transparent and people know what the procedures are, know how to apply for them, and make sure that they're applied objectively and fairly.
Well, Governor Rankin said that the outcome of the review needs to be a fair one that must be applied objectively.
The current law is 10 years eligibility for consideration of belongership status. And so long as that's current law, it must be applied. We must be a territory of the rule of law. Secondly, the COI report recommends a review of the processes. And we need to see the outcome of that review. At the moment, that's not a matter which lies directly within the power of the governor. It's a matter of devolved to the BVI government here. But I believe whatever the outcome, it should be a fair outcome, and it must be applied objectively without favouritism for any particular individual or group of individuals. So let's see where we end up. But for the moment, the law is 10 years, and that's what should be applied.
Well, moving on, viewers, where residents in need of a rapid antigen test at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital will have to resort to a RT-PCR test due to a shortage of antigen test kits within the BVI Health Services Authority. Well, this was confirmed by the BVI Health Services Authority via a media release dated June 3rd, but it said the shortage was caused by logistical issues, but is expected to be rectified by this Thursday. Well, the release stated, and I quote, "Well, the BVI Health Services Authority wishes to inform the general public that a delay in the shipment of antigen test kits has resulted in a shortage of rapid tests at the BVI HSA testing sites. Well, this matter is expected to be resolved by Thursday, 10th June 2022, and we will provide the public with an update accordingly," end quote. Well, the BVI HSA informed residents that the option to receive an RT-PCR test is still available. However, they warned that persons taking this option must be prepared to wait a minimum period of 24 hours for their results. Well, viewers, up next, the BVI's men football team's top Group D standings in CONCACAF competition and 8 police officers promoted to constables. Well, these and more stories when 284 News returns.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting. For people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the BVI men's national football team, in their first home game since 2016, drew 1-1 against Cayman Islands in the CONCACAF Nations League match, which was played at the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground last Friday. Well, Captain Kavon Troy Caesar gave BVI the lead in the 63rd minute. However, the Cayman men found an equalizer in the 81st minute as both sides shared 1 point each. Well, take a look.
If you get the player and not the ball, surely a red card. Cross coming in. Header! It's in! Goal! Goal! It's a goal for the British Virgin Islands! And it's the captain, Kavon Caesar. 63rd minute. They have been knocking on the door out of corner kicks. Jerry Wiltshire keeps.
Well, viewers, after the match, I spoke with the goal scorer and captain Caesar. He said he was grateful to be the first player to score a goal since 2016 on home turf.
After missing out on a couple games, after missing out after 2 years playing with the national team, I'm grateful to God that I'm playing my first game again after 2 years. I could score the first goal since 2016 on a home pitch, you know. So I can't do nothing but thank God for that goal, you know.
And also too, you know, speak about the performance of the team overall, from the perspective view as a fan. You know, it was a good game overall. Speak about what you would have seen on the field and what you would work to improve come next Monday.
Coming into the game, we knew that we were a better team. The coaching staff as well knew that we had the better team. And when the game started, the crowd saw that we were the better team. You know, we knew that we knew most of their weaknesses, and we went towards that, and it worked out for us most of the time. The goal that scored on us, it was just a simple little mistake that could be fixed, because clearly that we had more opportunities on shots on goal. It was just that one little chance. That happens in the game sometimes, but when we go out there on Monday, we know that we could fix those things, and then we will come out with a victory.
Well, I also had the opportunity to speak to national coach Chris Kiwumia, who commended the boys for their overall performance.
Yeah, really proud of the team. Listen, it's very hard conditions out there. We didn't start too well, but we got into the game and we got the lead, what we talked about. And now, you know, there was a lot of players going down injured, and they actually scored when we had to play off the pitch. But we worked really hard, we created a few chances and maybe could have won it at the end with Tyler. But I'm happy with the lads and they gave their all. Moving forward, we've got to look at the opposition and see how we're going to work and play against them again. They've got a couple of good players in midfield who conduct the play for them, really. So we'll look at the video and we'll do a debrief and move on till Monday.
Well, fast forward to yesterday's game. The British Virgin Islands men's football team secured another point in the CONCACAF Nation Leagues tournament after Jamie Wilson found an equalizer against Cayman Islands to draw that game 1-1. While playing in their second game, the Caymanians' home turf, the BVI conceded in the 25th minute after Jonah Ebanks capitalized from the penalty spot to give the Caymans an early 1-0 lead. But the BVI team responded sharply in the early seconds of the final half as Wilson found the net with his left boot to level the game in the 46th minute. But despite several attempts from both sides following the early goals, the game ended in a draw, with both teams having to settle for 1 point apiece.
The Cayman Islands welcome the British Virgin Islands, underway in Group D of Nations League C. This helps to take it away. Advantage played in favor of the Cayman Islands. Smith rolls further. Seymour floats, header down, it's directly at the goalkeeper and pinballs away. Campbell rose to the occasion, and Guilford a massive response. Best opening salvo, makes you wonder. Ebanks floats, header in front, rolls wide. Play. Scott. Contact and a penalty. The Cayman Islands win a chance to step to the spot and grab the lead. Ebanks takes his paces and delivers past Guilford to put the Cayman Islands ahead. Rubiel Vasquez begins the second half of play. Underway, the Cayman Islands in red, British Virgin Islands in yellow. And this is a good opening salvo. Luca Chalwell. Forbes will keep this in play. He'll float to the back post. Header skies up, header down. What a save! The follow-up's put in. Jamie Wilson. And a moment of pure exuberance from the British Virgin Islands. He's going to set that wall, but he can't leave that near post entirely unattended. The big body of Frederick Charleri will run through this penalty area. He's moved to the near post. That is aimed off the wall from Jonah Ebanks. A set piece. Dixon just entered the game. He won't be the one to take it. Instead, Scott! Nearly for Frederick Charleri. Driven ball ahead, asking the goalkeeper to come over Guilford and get a touch. Just how close was this from Parchment? And that is full time. The Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands meet twice in 4 days' time. Both end in 1-1 draws. And Group D remains there for the taking for both sides.
Well, viewers, the game gives the BVI team the lead in the Group D standings with a total of 2 points. With the Cayman Islands, which also have 2 points, are in second, while Puerto Rico remains at the bottom of the table on 0 points as they are yet to play a game. Well, the BVI's next game will be against Puerto Rico on Sunday, June 12th. Well, moving on, viewers, where 8 auxiliary officers from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force have been promoted to the status of constables. Well, there are Florita Lake, Zane Brownstorff, Roxanne Thomas, Iru, Petrina Etienne, Jacqueline Williams, Melissa Edwards, Gamaliel Smith, and Keela Industrious. But the officers were sworn in by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Mark Collins, last Wednesday. In giving the new constables their letters of appointment, the Commissioner encouraged each to use every opportunity to excel in their careers. He said, and I quote, "Well, I guarantee you will have many chances to prove yourself worthy of this promotion. I encourage you not to miss one. We are all watching to see those that will meet and excel the challenges that lie ahead. The BVI community is also dependent on you," end quote. Well, the 8 officers are part of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force's last cohort to graduate in April from the police training. Well, they entered training as police auxiliaries but were promoted to the rank following the completion of the training. Well, viewers, up next, VI Animal Shelter Manager named honorary MBE. Well, we get to that story when 284 News returns.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch again? You say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Well, welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Well, the BVI Humane Society Shelter Manager, Mr. Manog VJ Bissonot, is the territory's newest recipient of an honorary MBE from Her Majesty the Queen for his contributions to animal welfare. Or Ron Grant has that story.
BVI Humane Society Shelter Manager Mr. Manog Vijay Bisundat is the territory's newest recipient of an honorary MBE from Her Majesty the Queen for his contributions to animal welfare. Mr. Bisundat, popularly known as Vijay, joined the Humane Society at the age of 16 in 1995, some 27 years ago, working to help support then shelter manager Tesser Gunter. After Miss Gunter's death in 2013, he stepped into the role of shelter manager. The animal shelter consistently runs at maximum capacity and relies on fundraising events through the year to survive. The shelter looks after a variety of animals that often arrive unwanted, abandoned, and mistreated. Under very difficult circumstances, Mr. Basundat is said to have demonstrated a high level of compassion and care to these animals and to those owners that have been forced to surrender them. Mr. Basundat also spends his time educating the wider community on the importance of animal welfare. This includes mentoring classes and students from local schools who volunteer at the shelter as community service. His Excellency Governor John Ranking, CMG, said in an official quote, and I quote, "In a profession where you see a high turnover of shelter workers due to compassion fatigue, VJ's 27 years of outstanding service to the territory's abandoned and abused animals is testament to his unwavering dedication. VJ works tirelessly for the unwanted animals and is frequently the first person people call to rescue an animal or try to save their own." He continued, "Running an animal shelter is a selfless and at times a heartbreaking job. This award rightfully recognizes his outstanding achievements and unparalleled service to the Virgin Islands. It also helps shine a much-needed spotlight on the importance of animal welfare in the territory." In his response, Mr. Basundat said he feels honored to have received the award, adding, and I quote, "Working with animals in the BVI is extremely challenging, but very rewarding, all at the same time. I didn't get here myself though, and I would like to recognize the 2 other workers at the Humane Society, as well as all the other wonderful volunteers and the wider community who rallied together to help support and save the lives of so many animals in the Virgin Islands. Earlier this year, I visited Mr. Basundat at the animal shelter. Take a look. Hello viewers, as you can see, I am at the BVI Humane Society here in Johnson Gut, and I literally just fell in love with a puppy that someone literally brought in. As you know, the BVI Humane Society has been around since 1975, essentially offering one of the most essential services to the British Virgin Islands. All across the territory, you would see stray dogs, you would see abandoned dogs, you would see dogs that really just need a home. And that is essentially what the BVI Humane Society is offering. We have a number of services here, and we're going to put that into perspective for you. So let's go. The purpose of the Humane Society Animal Shelter is to find new homes for the abandoned animals presently in care. The shelter is always seeking residents who can bring a dog or cat home and give it the love and care it so desperately needs. Vijay Basundat is the Humane Society's shelter manager and has worked at the Humane Society for over 20 years. Believe it or not, Vijay knows all the dogs and cats by name and can help you find the perfect pet if you are interested in adoption. He also enjoys educating our local children on how to take care of animals. We caught up with him to discuss the overall needs of the shelter.
So here at the Humane Society, we do offer different services, and we offer boarding for animals. If you go away on a vacation, you have nowhere to take your animals, we do offer that as a service, which brings us some sort of capital to keep the shelter functional. And we do have cats and puppies and adult dogs and adult cats up for adoption. Right now we have an influx of over 75 adult dogs looking for a home. And the reason why, the pandemic, the hurricane, after the pandemic, a lot of people had to downsize and they had pets they couldn't take to the next apartment, so end up being here at the shelter. Once they come in here, we try to rehabilitate and try to find homes for them. The adult dogs are very difficult to find homes, and the puppies seem to go much faster, and we do have a great partnership with a non-profit called Paws BVI, which we do a lot of spaying and neutering through Paws BVI. And they have a program that called Animals with Wings, which we partner with a lot of different shelters in the US and St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, that we send small animals to different shelters because, we cannot take all the animals there. We don't have that capacity of space to accommodate all these. So we get stuck with the bigger dogs because with Paws BVI and Animals with Wings program, if they're over 20 pounds, they cannot fly. So they need to be under 20 pounds because they go in the cabin with a passenger, which is you could escort a dog. They take care of all expense. If you're here on vacation, you want to take a dog back to the States as just an escort, call us, call Paws BVI. We will sort everything out. All you gotta do is just take a dog on the ferry and the plane. Somebody's gonna be on the other end to receive the animals. So most of the time we get stuck with the adult dogs because with all the new regulation and rules that in place when it comes to flying, the adult dogs cannot fly, and there are certain times in the year which they're embargo on flights, meaning if it's too hot, they cannot travel, or if it's too cold, they cannot travel. And being in the BVI, we don't really have an international airport, and most of the planes are small. The big crates cannot go on the plane, so we get stuck with the adult dogs. So if you're ever looking for a dog, you know, for just say a protection animal, just a guard dog for your yard, we have dogs in the yard will do that. If you're looking just for a companion, for some therapy, we have dogs in the yard will do that. If you're just looking for some love and cuddles and licks, we have dogs in the yard going to do that. So come on down to the shelter and see what we have. We have so many animals looking for a home. Come on, give these guys a second chance in life. We are a non-profit organization. We receive no funding from government at all. So basically we rely on the public help, donation, you know, monetary service, voluntary service, and things that, you know, we always need, you know, financial help, because we do have a vet bill when the month is up to pay. We do have an overhead, you know, light, water, we have rent to pay, we have staff to pay, utilities, food for the animals, cleaning supply to keep the place sanitized. You know, we just need everything that you could get, the public could give us to keep the shelter function. And we're in process of building a new shelter, and hopefully before the year is end we could break some sort of ground. We do have a plot of land been purchased in Josiah's Bay, which been paid for it, and we're supposed to build before Irma, but Irma came, destroyed everything. The money we had in the bank, we had to put it into this shelter to keep it functional, because we just couldn't close the door. We had to keep the door open for the public. And then we went back to the drawing board and came up with another plan. Then the pandemic came, so it's been setbacks. But you know, we reached a point that we actually raised some money now that we could actually break ground, hopefully before the year is finished. And we do have a website which is very, you know, transparent. We do have all the plans and everything as the public need to know. It's right there. You know, it's bvihumanesociety.org, and we do have a very functional Facebook daily update, and it's Humane Society at the BVI or on Facebook. And our telephone number is 494-2284 or 494-9008. Or you could just reach me personally on my cell, 540-2299. We do have a board of directors, and that's else, you know, you can reach her as well. She's very good at responding back to email, so you have any question, you have anything, just send us an email.
Unfortunately, the shelter has been given notice of the lease of their current premises in Johnson Gut and are now seeking funds to develop property in Josiah's Bay for a new and improved state-of-the-art humane compound. The aim is to build a larger and more modern shelter with larger cages, cat pens, dog runs, veterinarian and boarding facilities. The staff at the Humane Society are very committed to the animal shelter, but they need your help.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com. Like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Why? This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.